2000. Nation.
You're in tune to the coolest show around. Be ready to have your mind blown into the atmosphere. You're listening here to the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. You're listening here live. Actually, it's not. I've actually had to tape this episode. Still have a little kinks with my audio setup. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna call a TV repairman to come fix this shit. Well, you're listening here to the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. We rock it from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're in Antarctica, let us know if you are hearing this podcast. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow and like us on all our social media platforms. You can follow them on my TikTok and YouTube channel, both labeled the Cooley Cool Show. You can also follow me on my Twitter account at CooleyCool2412. Also, be sure to follow me on my Instagram page at Brent_the_champ. Got quite a couple things I'm going to talk to you about here on the coolest show around. Rocking it from here to the observable universe. Yep. So everybody's starting in a couple of seconds, just getting everything set up as far as going over. Typically, I like to try to do my podcast live, but I'm having, like I said, issues just for the audio part. Now, you are about to listen to the coolest talk radio, the coolest podcast around that rocks it from coast to coast to north to south. And yes, that forbidden Antarctic zone. You are listening here to the Cooley Cool Show. Now, without further ado, the host that is intergalactic, heard from here to the observable universe, none other than your host, Brent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, you are listening here. Ah, man, kind of keeps going crazy. Yes, here. Oh, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Yes, you're listening here on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show with your host Brent. Get here on this Saturday night. It's almost close to midnight. Like I said, I usually like to try to do my podcast live, but I'm having some type of issues. Been having some issue for the past like 3 days. I don't know. I think I gotta probably reset or restart my entire my system, my computer, my desktop, and everything. But I'm still trying to bring it to you with these great stories that are in the media, that are in the news, that people are wanting to hear out there, want to know about most of all. So, the title of this episode, if you haven't known already, it's called Balloons and Aliens. Yep, we're kind of going to be leaving off where we left off the past couple nights and get really to the bottom of this whole balloons and aliens. There has been a lot of speculation talk as far as what is really going on. I know I touched about this just recently about the second balloon that was spotted over in Alaska, and the United States end up taking that balloon out of commission. Or, well, it wasn't a balloon. They don't know if it's a balloon. They just know it's an unidentified flying object that was apparently flying at about 40,000 feet. And, the United States didn't hesitate, and they decided to take it down. And apparently it crashed. It landed somewhere in Alaska, somewhere where they're planning to salvage the wreckage and try to confirm what it is and what it's not. But I can pretty much, for the most part, just kind of go on a limb and just kind of let everybody know as far as what's this kind of remnants of. But I guess with the flow of information, it's going to be a little bit more different since we got a little bit more information as far as technology-wise. Isn't it times feeling like this whole issues of sightings of first balloon surveillance and then now another sighting of some type of identified flying object that gets shot down by the United States? Sounding a little bit almost kind of like, I don't want to say it, but sounding like a little Roswell incident. Yeah. Anyone? Yeah, but it definitely sounding a little bit like some type of Roswell similarities and connection with only a modern day feel. Now, as this modern day feel is kind of getting the kind of perspective that there might be a little bit more to expect from this, or it could be all a grand plan. And when we talk about a grand plan, we're talking about as far as what in the heck would be the whole outcome of all this shit. Is it just planning us for more nonsense, more craziness to come to fruition? So I mean, I did read a couple articles. It said basically they're going off the first one, the first Chinese balloon. So the first Chinese balloon was equipped with antenna, meant to pinpoint the locations of communication devices and capabilities of intercepting calls made on those devices, according to declassified intelligence released by the State Department on Thursday. That's pretty much what they said. So apparently, the Chinese spy balloon. I'm going to call it the Chinese spy balloon. That's what they confirmed. And then they said surveillance, so it's a spy balloon. So apparently, this balloon was spotted over in Montana. And as it was spotted over by Montana, apparently this balloon was drifting over in the area of where USA's supposed nuclear silos are hidden at. And you kind of wondering how they know where that's at. I mean, that kind of makes you kind of feel and wonder as far as like, hey, what's going on here? If they're going over that type of area, I mean, that's a kind of concern. If this balloon was surveying the United States is one of their nuclear bases that houses nuclear silo missiles. I mean, that's pretty. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that's pretty interesting. I'm just gonna say it's pretty kind of wondersome, you know. And for the fact of them to know the location at where one of these nuclear silos, missile housing units is at, that's even leads to a little bit more mystery and more wondering as far as what the hell is actually really going on. It just leads to a lot of speculation, a lot of talk. And what information was gathered from this? We do know that the United States did salvage and recover the wreckage from the balloon having been shot down off the shores of North Carolina. I mean, you know, just shot that motherfucker down. We didn't get old Jim Bob from the North Carolinas with their hunting guns out there take it down, but we instead did it ourselves in a kind of tactical show of presence, and that we ain't meant to be fucked with. Fucking type of fucking, hey, don't fuck with America. You know what I mean? So, you know, pretty much did the whole, look here, this is what I'm talking about, right? Look, you don't be flying that shit over across our country without extreme press, permission. All right? You know what I mean? Don't you fucking bring that fucking balloon over fucking flying around here, doing whatever the fuck is doing, fucking trying to get some intel on us. You don't do that shit, you know what I mean? All right? Because I guarantee you, I'm telling you, God forbid, if you capture something on that fucking camera of yours, and you record and took it back to your fucking country and your government to try to expose us for the things we got going on in here, because I swear to God, okay, you can forget about it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we salvaged the wreckage, and now we're just going to play a little couple games and kind of figure out, where it came from. How much do you want this balloon back with maybe your advanced technology, so called, on this balloon that maybe you probably want to pay to have it back, and then we kind of hush, keep it moving, you know what I mean? That could be the overall plan. Who knows? I mean, that can seem kind of feasible, so to speak, whatever the fuck that means. But there's another issue that I wanted to talk to in relation to this balloon, because there was not only one balloon that was seen, just gradually on a Sunday stroll, but it was actually two balloons. The second balloon was actually spotted over Latin America, and China confirms that they're spy balloon was flying over Latin America. And many people at this point dismissed it because no one really gave a rat's ass, to be honest with. They were like, oh, it's flying over Latin America. It's not our fucking problem. You know? It's literally like, it is what it is. And the funny part about this whole situation, with the balloon having flown over Latin America and the Caribbeans, makes you think maybe were the Chinese, or were the China wondering, hey, what does Latin America look like? What does the Caribbeans look like? Plan on taking a vacation trip over there pretty soon. So they were kind of trying to get a feel on what it looked like, since it was, surveillance. I mean, what type of surveillance was it doing? Vacation surveillance? Oh, Montana seems like a nice wilderly area where Bigfoot lives. I gotta make sure there's no grizzly bears there. Be nice. Maybe I could see Yogi the fucking bear. Or I could go down over here to the Carolinas and take a look over here. I heard Myrtle Beach is pretty good at this time of year, or coming up. Get there before it gets all populated, Or might go down here to the Caribbean. Oh, wonderful waters, beautiful coastal lines. The music's on point, food's great, all inclusive though, might I say. And then while you're down there, you're enjoying yourself. You'll be like, man, that might be good. But then let's go take a gander over here down to the Latin part, Latin America. Let's go see what's going on with the Colombia. I heard there's a lot of historical areas and things that happen in Colombia. But that's all dated back in the 70s and 80s. Maybe early a little bit the 90s. Check that out. But apparently the balloon that was spotted over in Latin America was flying at an altitude a feet of 55,000 feet with an average speed of 25 knots, which technically, if it's 25 knots, it's actually probably flying extremely slow. It's probably flying about 35 miles per hour. And the Colombian Air Force said officials determined not to pose a threat to national security, and whether investigating its origins. What? So, Venezuelan Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated rejects the attack by the United States against a civilian unmanned aircraft of Chinese origin. What the fuck does that mean? You know what that means? That means they are friends with China. That's what that fucking statement means. Because it's like to reject the attack by the United States against a civilian unmanned. First of all, you got to take this piece by piece. Look at it this way. Civilian unmanned aircraft of Chinese origin. Just happens to fucking stroll its fucking hippity happy, happy joy feely ass way all the way down to Latin America, and all the way across America, United States. And figured out it's unmanned, it's an aircraft. There's nothing to feel about it. It's not a threat to national security. Yeah, it's got cameras. It's recording. It's sending imagery, photography back to its origin in China. It's not a threat to national security. And it says, oh, it's just, it's just a, weather balloon silence, surveillance. It's not doing anything. Really? What a bold fucking statement for fucking them to say that shit. Because you would only make that statement, that dumbass statement, if in fact you weren't fucking in cahoots with the fucking origin of where this fucking balloon came from, which now we know as came from China, who admitted it. So Venezuelan Ministry of Foreign Affairs makes this statement, this bullshit ass statement, saying this fucking nonsense. Oh, it rejects the attack by the United States against civilian unmanned aircraft. But yet it has, surveillance equipment, cameras, recording device, listening device at this probably point in time. Doesn't pose a threat to national security. Fuck are you talking about? You know why you say that? Because it does affecting you. Because guess what? You're in cahoots with fucking China at this point. You're in cahoots with any other country that says, oh, it's not a fucking thing. But I'm pretty sure if it's a country that you don't like and you're not fucking friends with, you would take it as a full-on fucking disrespect and a fucking kind of an aggressive move to be in your airspace, to have all that technology and equipment on it, doing the shit it was doing, and traveling from where it traveled from. So for the other country, Latin America, to take this so fucking lightly is a fucking blatant just disrespect for other people's shit. So basically that's like going to somebody else's house and then you're making yourself some bacon and eggs and then fucking their shit up. And you didn't ask. You didn't ask one fucking bit. Using up all the eggs, eating up all the bacon, not even cleaning up after yourself, getting egg splattered on the fucking thing, not offering even the fucking host, hey, you want some of your eggs? I'm eating it. No, that's fucking disrespect. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, what is going on. So if Latin America were to say, oh, that's not this, that's just, America overreacted. But if we were to do that and we were not a friend, trust me, they would feel some type of way. They would call for a lot of action. They would call for a lot of shit to say, hey, this is not going to settle. We're not going to have this. Trust me, it's a double-edged fucking sword. Because trust me, if the United States does their own shit, as you know what, the United States does their own dirty shit every fucking day. Just don't get caught. Like seriously, the United States just doesn't get caught with it. But China gets caught. And the United States responds in reference to them getting caught. And all of a sudden now it's taken out of context. Oh, you didn't have to deal with that. That's overreacting. How dare you? But if it was on the other end, you'd be like, oh, fucking United States, I swear to God. See, you motherfuckers can't be trusted. You fucking assholes. No, there will be hell to pay. They'd be up in arms about this shit. It's a double-edged fucking sword. Don't be misguided. Don't be fucking fooled. Don't read all the bullshit and assume the fucking worst. Alright? Especially not from fucking other countries that are just gonna lightly say, oh, hey, it's unmanned aircraft. Why take offense? It's not a threat to national security. Really? Fucking really? From traveling a fucking distance. Come on, man. Doesn't make much fucking sense. And then also on top of that, President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela has recently proposed establishing a new international bloc of Latin American and Caribbean countries and referred to China's president, I can't pronounce his name, and Russian Vladimir Putin of Russia as each being an older brother. So let me say this again. The president of Venezuela has recently proposed establishing a new international bloc of Latin American and Caribbean countries and referred to the president of China and Vladimir Putin of Russia as each being an older brother. Wow. Fucking wow. What the hell does that supposedly fucking mean? That means they're like family. It's like older brother doing something, just playing around. Doesn't really take as much of a threat because it's not really that, because we're friends with them anyway. You're basically saying we're fucking family. It's not to take anything fucking serious from this. Look at this and look how it's fucking being told. Do unto others, but don't do unto others if you would do it unto me. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Don't do that shit to me, but it's okay if I do it to you. Kind of fucked up kind of analogy, but an overall aspect, it's actually the fucking truth. But like I said, the United States constantly gets barraged with a bombardment of shit that people tend to say that, hey, look at what the United States is fucking doing, man. Look, say, I told you they're fucked up all the time. Can't take their asses fucking seriously, man. Unfucking real. Unfucking real. Now, and then people are still talking about the second balloon that was spotted over in Alaska having it shot down. And now many people have redirected to this as saying, well, it's not a balloon. I don't really keep saying a balloon. That's the only way I can say it because there was the balloon talk all the time. But as I said at the beginning of this podcast, I said, man, this is looking a little bit kind of sketchy as far as something that happened back in the day. Roswell. Like, if you want to put it into content, they haven't came out yet and spoke about what the fuck this object was that they shot down over in Alaska. Now, here's a conspiracy theory about the whole 9 yards, the whole thing that I can maybe say, look, this is what they're going to try to spin to us, or what they want to spin to us. And for what reason, I'm still trying to figure it out. Still thinking. So consider the fact is this. All right. So in order to keep up with the basis of space and the observable universe and all that universe talk and fucking solar system shit. So what would they do? It's not too hard to put past the fact that, well, let's just put it this way. Space is big business. Fake news is big business too. So, in the sense, they make over for space, anything dealing with space, makes more money than anything. For some odd reason, people love the fucking space. I mean, I was too. I wanted to grow up and be a fucking astronaut. You know, I love the space shuttle program. We had a fucking spaceship. To go fly out into the fucking solar system. To go travel. And then you found out when you get older that that's impossible. The reason why? Because compared to traveling a distance from here to another fucking planet, takes too fucking long. So what's the fucking point of doing space travel when anything with them light years takes too fucking long? It takes 1 billion light years. Wow, so it takes me where I'll never be there. I'll never get there. So that's exactly what you're trying to fucking tell me, is that I'll never reach any of them fucking places. Because one, we don't have the technology base to even match the speed to get to that fucking shit at time. So anyway, so space and all that malarkey makes billions and trillions of dollars. It generates it. Why? Don't know. Because people are so in love with the future and want to fucking travel the cosmos. So space is kind of running on the back end. Not much talk. Not much people really understand it. Had some about a year ago about the UAB, UFOs, whatever, things with 3-letter words. So, wasn't much talk about it. It was kind of calm and subtle for the moment. But there was things, as I said before, maybe could probably be building upon. You never know. So, here you have a balloon. China's balloon. Floats over. China confirms it. Hey, it's a balloon. Yeah, it's a surveillance balloon. Boom. China surveillance balloon flies across the United States. Everybody sees it. Then, because it's at an altitude where people can see it. You had people in the backstick woods of North Carolina seeing it. Damn, they're almost shooting at it. Where they had to tell people in the state, don't take pop shots at it. So, how about China? Hear me out. China has a surveillance balloon that they admit was taking photographs looking at her. But it wasn't doing in the realm of kind of spying on us. It's because maybe they probably found something somewhere on their travels with the balloon that they're looking, and they were tracking it. And maybe they're looking for it, right? There's two options. I'm going two ways of thinking. So as they do it, China's like, shit, we can't really tell them exactly what we're doing because yet we don't fully understand what the hell was going on, nor less we don't understand what is that we're capturing. So now you get a second, which I'm going to, well, back it up one more thing. As China's tracking the balloon, obviously it's in the United States, and then there's obviously a second balloon that's, goes into Latin America. Now, Latin America, not paying motherfucking attention because it's unmanned. What are you talking about? It's unmanned. It's not doing anything. It's not vital to national security. China's like, yeah, it's not anything, sure. But China's tracking whatever they found from when they first really started. And they're like, yeah, there's something, but we just can't tell them yet because you can't confirm or deny. So, put it to the object in Alaska. The object in Alaska was found by the United States, as far as the United States not knowing where it originally came from, but they're like looking at it like, holy shit, we're going to take this shit down. Now, the United States takes it down in retrospect because they're like, oh shit, we don't know what the fuck this is, yet we can't say it's a balloon, though China already admitted that they did have a balloon, but we shot theirs down because, let's figure, we don't know whether they're spying, they're not telling us the entire truth, and like I said all the time, if you don't think there's underlining shit where all the countries don't talk to each other, all the countries do talk to each other. We always do. All the countries, every country talks to each other, despite how the media portrays what goes on. They said, oh, Russia and China, they don't like the United States, don't like. Everybody talks to each other. Everybody has to. I mean, this is how shit gets done. Okay? Everybody needs each other. Everybody is fucking holding hands, kumbaya, and all that shit. So, obviously, with the whole situation that goes on, you have certain elements that are being put in place that eventually going to end up having to surface to talk to people and say, hey, look, we know we should have told you from the get-go that we were tracking something. We didn't know what it was, and we were following it. But we just we're following it with something that we felt that kind of would be flying a little bit under the radar and not really taking notice. We were going to tell you, but then we started to see a little bit maybe more. And thus why we didn't really divulge this, because we didn't understand what it was either. And then, but you shot down our shit with all the captured fucking footage. Now we can't fucking prove shit. All we could tell you is that, yeah, that was our fucking surveillance thing. But we can't fucking show you as far, because now you have to piece the shit together to, in order to fucking utilize. Be like, wait a minute, China, don't you have recording mechanisms? Yeah, we do. But at the same time, it wasn't enough to capture or figure out the process from whatever the balloon we had. But now we have this incident where apparently Alaska has some type of object and the United States just shoots it down. Yet they have not divulged information. Now, that's going on the theory that maybe aliens do exist. All right, that's just one premise on it. But at the same time, I've already told you my premise on it. If aliens are doing shit like this, they are some sloppy motherfuckers, supposedly be some fucking intelligent life form. Them motherfuckers is not intelligent if they constantly fucking up doing dumbass shit. I mean, to be honest with, if you think about this, Roswell, New Mexico, and the Roswell incident, where the aliens supposedly crash landed, which is thus how people started to figure out, oh, there's a secret base called probably Area 51. And the aliens were taken to that, secure facility, as what they say. You kind of have to understand, well, what happened? How the fuck did their fucking spaceship fucking crash? What were they doing? I mean, is this common for, a so-called advanced alien species to be fucking up on the rig? I've already told you. One, why do aliens need bright white spotlights fucking navigating through fucking the United States or any other fucking place around the world? Oh, well, they can't see through the fucking... If they were that advanced technology, they would already came up with some type of technology-based system where they don't have to utilize any bright white light to see through anything or to see the area where they're at. That would be not and void. Honestly, especially if they want to stay under the radar, that's how you would probably do it. You don't want to be seen. You don't want to be seen at all. You want to fucking be able to fucking do your thing and not have people fucking see what you're doing. even if you're going to be, you know, in the middle of the motherfucking night, 3 a.m, you know, he's in the middle of the motherfucking night, the alien came in there with the biggest fucking head and eyes, and then he told me, shut up. You heard my other podcast, I talk about extensively about alien abductions, especially one of them where the alien told the lady, shut up. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we're still not being told what exactly the full extent, or this could just be like, as far as what I trying to tell you the top two number 2 is, to fuel more money in the space programs because they're losing out. Literally losing out. It was a couple years ago that they so-called said that China landed on the moon. Their space program, the Chang 3, landed on the moon. And as they landed on the moon, you know, I don't even think anybody was covering that. Maybe China, they were covering it, but certainly not people here. The North America aspect was covering it. I don't think they even cared. More or less, I think people at this point are more in tune to say, you know what, there ain't shit on the moon, so why the fuck we need to go back to the moon? It's clearly simple. But then they said that China landed on the dark side of the moon. What are they going to discover on that side? That it's fucking dark? Huh? Ain't no light. I mean, if you look up to the moon, what do you see? The same goddamn side of the moon as always. Shit doesn't turn, apparently. But I'm not an astronomer, so if I'm going to talk on that, as I say scientifically, I'm going to have to bring some scientific evidence to the table in order to justify my theories. Yeah, like I said, theories. So, in that aspect, what is going on? We're probably going to see some more craziness as probably the coming weeks, maybe months, that is going to start to play out in some event. I mean, there's so much shit that's going on right now. It is probably mind-boggling on what the fuck is actually really going on. Because obviously, the man behind the curtain, he's right now, he's like playing a good note. He's got everybody's attention diverted. And as I told you before, if you listen to my podcast, I tell you, it's like, don't be fooled, because chances are a lot of people do, and a lot of people in this world, they like to do misdirection, especially to get themselves into a position where they can obviously influence or change or sway things. Like, maybe if you have one person, if a magician has one person in front of them and it does a magic trick in front of them, street magic, that one person, yeah, that might be fooled, but to do it to them again, they're probably going to be able to know exactly what you're doing. It's a little bit hard to fool me right when I'm in front of you. But if there's a bunch of people with me and me to do the trick and I'm really smooth and good with it, I can fool a whole variety of people. And that one person is like, wow, I can't believe he did it. Yay, cakes and pies, cakes and pies. Trust me, other people are going to say cakes and pies too. They're just going to go along with it. Because they're going to want to seem like they're the odd one out that didn't get it. You know, everybody wants to fit in, belong, you know. So I was going to go along with it. You can fool a bunch of people. Because guess what? You're promoting misdirection. And that's what a lot of magicians do. Promote misdirection. So obviously, misdirection is very easy, not complex, but yet very simple. So, do you not think that if people wanted to get people to go into a different way of thinking or to fool them in a way that they want them to go, you do something very small and simple. So, I mean, there's always an underlining story of this, and I've always talked on for the longest time, and will continue to talk on this for a long time. Money is the main objective for a lot of these individuals. So, trust me when I tell you, money is the root of all evil and is the basis for a lot of things to start. So, don't think that everything you hear is actually going to be true. And now people say, well, what about your show? You always talk about you're promoting the realism talk on the coolest of the cool, the coolly show. I'm getting your mind into a common sense perspective. Because you have to have common sense perspective. Be able to critically think. Because, trust me, they don't want us to critically think. They don't want us to be able to have common sense and to spot the bullshit. As I talked about not too long, about 2 minutes ago, about alien ships and them supposedly being super intelligent, but they're doing what? Using spotlights to see through when they come here to Earth. Or when the aliens come here to abduct people, they're abducting scholars, model citizens of society, those that contribute, high prolific, educated people, taking it up to the mothership. And when they bring them back down, those individuals tell their stories, and everybody sits there and believes them because of how they're placed in society. So they're credible. But you don't ever hear anybody from the low class area, the hoods, the ghettos, the broke down trailer homes, the out in the bumpkin, poor farm area, whatever. You don't hear any of those issues where people talk about, I was abducted and there, or yeah, man, I was abducted by the mothership. You know what? And they were taken up there and doing experimentations, sexual experimentations, so they always usually say. And then come back here. You don't hear any of them, people from there talking about, because guess what? You would disregard it. You would be like, they're probably crazy, been drinking, high on something. Why? Because you would find them not credible. But guess what? The scholars, the elites of the elites, you will take their word for what it is and be like, man, they're pretty on point. They're right. I have to believe them. It's kind of fucked up. It really is. When you start to look at things from a very common sense perspective and start looking at how to critically think on ciphering through bullshit, the bullshittery, you will find out that, man, they just love to feed people's bullshit. Because guess what? Think about it. How many people will follow the fucking leader but not knowing where the leader's going? The leader will lead them off to a fucking cliff. But guess what? They'll be like, I was following him. What do you mean I was following that guy in front of me. What are you following me for? I was following him. That's how it happens. I'm telling you, open your mind. So, you have to have a common sense perspective about certain things. So, that's pretty much all I have to tell you. And we've come to another end of a great episode here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. You know what? I might touch up on a topic of discussion where I'm kind of debating whether or not to do so or not. I don't want to ruffle too many people's feathers with this one, but I wanted to probably maybe. But if I want to do it, I got to have some response of people that want me to do it. And that's talking on the topic of discussion between flat earthers versus globers. I want to hear the discussion. I want to hear the talk. I want the freaking back and forth. All right. But I'm not going to do it unless I get people responding and says, hey, I want to hear a topic discussion about that. As you guys know, if you're part of my podcast, I'm a glober. But I take the concepts and I take the thought process and have an open mind for what the flat earthers talk about. So, if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow and like me on my other social media platforms. You can follow me on my TikTok channel and YouTube channel, which my podcasts are automatically up to my YouTube channel at Coolly Cool Show. You can also follow me on my Twitter account at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me on my Instagram page, Brent_the_champ. You can also, if you missed this episode, you can also follow this episode on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and obviously Spreaker.com. So, Saturday, tomorrow's the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if I might have a podcast for tomorrow of the Super Bowl. I'll be probably too busy watching the Super Bowl. But definitely we'll post updates when I'm going to go on live. Unfortunately, like this is taped, but hey, bring it to you anyway. You heard it here, rocking from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. So you heard it here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show, with your host Brent. Take care. Bye.